Stampers, this is Holly from Rubber Redneck. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my Day 1 Fall Frenzy video tutorial. This week over on my blog, rubberredneck.typepad.com, I have a Fall Frenzy thing I'm doing for the whole week, starting today, October 27th. You'll want to visit my blog for details, and I'll also have a project sheet available for you to download for free on this cute little pumpkin stand I made. And to create this pumpkin stand, I used the stamp set called For All Things from the holiday catalog. And to create this fun pumpkin stand, this is the front view, and then when you turn it, here's what it kind of looks like on the back. This would be a fun gift for coworkers or friends. You could also add like a photo on here too of a loved one if you want, or your pet. To create this pumpkin, you want to cut one piece of baked brown sugar cardstock at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to run it through the Big Shot with the circle framelits, die cutting it out. Then you want to cut one piece of Tangerine Tango cardstock at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Run that through the Big Shot with the circle framelits, die cutting it out. Then you're going to zip it through the Big Shot with the Fancy Fan embossing folder to give it that fun texture. Then take a stamping sponge and sponge your edges with the Tangerine Tango ink to kind of distress your pumpkin. Then you're going to glue your pumpkin to your baked brown sugar one. And just place that right in the center. And I put it so that the pattern from the Fancy Fan, the scallops are facing downward. Then you want to cut one piece of chocolate chip cardstock at 1/2 inch by 2 1/2. Take your paper snips and cut one end at an angle, turning it into a cute little pumpkin stem. Then you're going to glue this to the back of your little pumpkin. Just glue it to the back at the top here. Then you want to die cut out 3 pieces of old olive cardstock using the Big Shot and the Fun Fall framelits. Die cut out those leaves, then run those through the Big Shot with the Fancy Fan embossing folder to give them some fun texture to them. Then you want to take some little pieces of stamping dimensional, place them onto the back of the leaves, and then you're going to attach your leaves up at the top of your pumpkin. And I just started out attaching one to the left, going at an angle, and then I put one in the center going straight down, and then I put the other one at an angle going upwards. So it looks like that so far. Then using the Big Shot and the Fun Fall framelits, you want to die cut out 2 leaves in the champagne glitter paper, and then you're going to cut some stamping dimensionals to put on the back of them. And then you want to just place them in onto your pumpkin at different angles. I placed one down here at the bottom of the 2 old olive leaves on the right, and then the other one I placed at the top of the pumpkin going at an angle on the left side. They're facing upwards. Then you want to cut one piece of baked brown sugar cardstock. Then you're going to cut that at 1/4 inch by 6 inches. Once you have that cut, you want your paper piercing tool, and you're going to wrap this around your paper piercing tool to curl the cardstock. So then you'll have a piece of cardstock that's kind of curled like this. Then you just want to pinch it, and then you're going to attach it with a glue dot to the top of your pumpkin. And then I just kind of slid it in underneath the leaves there a little bit. And then because you pinched it, it kind of unrolls again, so you want to just take it and gently curl it, creating the little stem pumpkin for the leaves at the top of your pumpkin. And it'll curl back right around because you already pre-curled it the first time. Then you want to cut one piece of very vanilla cardstock. You want to cut that at 1/2 inch by 2 1/2. Take the stamp from For All Things, stamp it in chocolate chip, and stamp onto your very vanilla cardstock. Zip it through the Big Shot with the banner framelits, die cutting it out. Once you have that cut out, you're going to place 2 stamping dimensionals onto the back. So I just cut 1 in half, and then I just placed a stamping dimensional on each end of the Very Vanilla cardstock. And then you want to just place them across the top of your leaves at the top of your pumpkin. Then you want to cut some 1/4-inch burlap ribbon, and I just cut that about 3 inches, 4.5 inches long, sorry. I just cut that at 4.5 inches long, and then I just grabbed a hold of it to pull out the little strands. And to pull out these little strands to get them loose, what you will need to do is on each side of that burlapped ribbon, it's stitched, so you'll just need to cut that off. And then once you cut that off, they'll just pull right out of there. So I just pulled 3 of those out. And then I took and tied a knot in the center of those 3 little pieces of that burlap ribbon. And then you want to create a bow out of the 1/8 crushed curry taffeta ribbon. And once you have that created, you're going to take the bow and place that onto the top up here of your pumpkin with a glue dot. And you just want to put it above the little label here. Then you're going to attach that burlap ribbon with a glue dot to the center of that crushed curry ribbon. Then you want to take one of the neutral designer buttons, and you want the very vanilla small one, and you're going to place a glue dot onto the back and then place that right in the center. Once you have that part done, then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to trim up the ends on that burlap. Just a little bit, snip them off. And then put your finger onto the button and just pull the little ribbon trims from that burlap ribbon. Just kind of pull them around. And because that glue dot is there, they will stick to it and stay in place. Just kind of spreading it out. So there's the front of your little pumpkin. Now to create it so it's a stand, so it will stand up, you want to cut 1 piece of baked brown sugar cardstock at 2 inches by 4 inches, and then you're going to score it at 2 1/4. Once you have it scored, fold it on the scored line and crease it down with your bone folder good. So then your piece will look like this. Then you want to cut 1 more piece of baked brown sugar cardstock at 1 1/2 by 2 inches. Place it so the 1 1/2 inch length is at the top of your Simply Scored scoring tool, and score it at 1/2 inch and then at 1 inch. Once it's scored, turn it over and put sticky strip on those outside 1/2 inch tabs. Then you want to fold on the scored lines and crease it down good with the bone folder. Then you're going to take and peel off the backing off one side and take that other piece of the baked brown sugar cardstock, and you're going to place this in here onto that baked brown sugar cardstock. And then you want to take and pull off the backing off the other piece, and then pull that baked brown sugar cardstock down to attach it to the sticky strip here on this little piece. And what you're doing is creating a stand for your pumpkin. So there's what it looks like, and if you get it on there crooked, or if you cut it a little bit longer than that 1 1/2, just trim that so it looks nice. Because if you're going to give this to somebody, you want to make sure it looks nice. And once you have that part done, then you're going to glue this to your back of your pumpkin. And when you glue this, you want the short side here. You're going to glue that part onto the pumpkin. So just put a little bit of glue on that side. Just cover it. And then you're going to place this onto your pumpkin. And I placed it so it was just a little bit above the edge there before it starts to curve. I just placed it there like that. Hopefully you can see that. And then wait until it sticks before it adheres before you pick it back up. And then you're ready to stand it up, and you've just created your cute little pumpkin stand. And that completes the tutorial for the pumpkin stand. Thank you for watching.